Imagine a car that never needs charging. No power outlets. No waiting at stations. No range anxiety. Sounds impossible, right? Well, what if I told you that this groundbreaking innovation didn't come from Silicon Valley, not from Europe, not even from China, but from Africa? Yes, Africa has unveiled the world's very first self-charging electric vehicle, and the global auto industry, especially Tesla, is watching closely. Could this be the technology that changes the EV race forever? Across the globe, electric vehicles have been hailed as the future. But even the biggest brands, including Tesla, face one nagging challenge: charging infrastructure. Despite advancements in battery tech, the need to plug in, recharge, and wait has limited how far EVs can truly go. The mastermind behind this innovation is Maxwell Chikumbutso, a Zimbabwean inventor who has spent years developing technologies that challenge conventional engineering. His self-powered EV runs with a system that harnesses clean, renewable energy, essentially allowing the vehicle to create and sustain its own charge. For Tesla, whose business model is built not just on cars, but also on its supercharger network, this could be a real challenge. If a car never needs to charge, what happens to Tesla's global advantage? This isn't just a local invention. It has global consequences. Africa's leap into self-powered EVs could position the continent as a key player in clean tech. And with rising partnerships between African innovators and international investors, the balance of power in the EV industry may be shifting faster than anyone expected. Maxwell Chikumbutso's self-charging EV isn't just about cars. It's a symbol that Africa can not only participate in the clean energy revolution, but actually lead it. And here's where it gets interesting. While some major automakers are skeptical, others are quietly paying attention. Industry insiders whisper that partnerships, funding, and even attempted acquisition may already be in motion, because whoever controls this technology controls the future of transportation. Now let's talk Tesla. Elon Musk built his empire on disrupting traditional automakers, but disruption doesn't last forever. If Africa's technology proves scalable, Tesla faces a new kind of competitor, one that bypasses the very foundation of the EV industry. Think about it. Tesla's strategy relies heavily on lithium batteries, gigafactories, and vast charging infrastructure. But a self-powered EV? That removes the need for charging stations altogether. And this isn't just about Tesla. Imagine what it means for oil companies, governments, and even renewable energy sectors. The ripple effect could reshape entire industries. But here's the twist most people don't see. This breakthrough isn't just about challenging Tesla. It's about rewriting Africa's role in global technology. If nurtured, this innovation could create jobs, attract international investors, and turn Africa into a hub for next-generation clean tech. For the first time, the continent wouldn't just be exporting raw materials like cobalt and lithium. It would be exporting finished innovation, intellectual property, and futuristic engineering. And yet, with every innovation comes resistance. Skeptics argue it's too good to be true. Others question the science, and some say the world isn't ready for a car that breaks all the rules. But with every bold innovation, controversy follows. Some scientists argue that the idea of a truly self-powered EV defies known principles of energy conservation. They claim the technology must either rely on hidden external sources or face efficiency challenges that make mass production unrealistic. Yet, on the other side, videos of prototypes, demonstrations, and testimonials continue to spark curiosity. Maxwell Chikumbutso has shown his designs in action before, from power generators that run without fuel to drones powered by clean energy systems. For his supporters, this EV isn't magic. It's simply the result of rethinking energy itself. And if that's the case, the entire EV industry could be standing at the edge of a seismic shift. Internationally, reactions are mixed. In Silicon Valley, whispers suggest Tesla engineers are monitoring the situation closely. In China, where EV manufacturing dominates, investors are evaluating whether this is a threat or an opportunity for partnership. And in Africa, leaders are beginning to see what many call a once-in-a-lifetime chance to leapfrog into global relevance. For decades, Africa has exported minerals, resources, and talent. But with this breakthrough, the continent might finally be exporting world-changing technology. The The balance of power in the EV race could tilt in directions no one expected. But here's the catch. Controlling such technology isn't just a matter of science. It's political, it's economic, it's strategic. Whoever controls a self-charging EV doesn't just win the car market. They redefine global transportation, energy independence, and even geopolitics. Imagine nations no longer relying on oil. Imagine automakers forced to abandon charging infrastructure worth billions. Imagine consumers who will never worry about plugging in their cars again. That's why, behind the scenes, negotiations, patents, and even silent power struggles are already in play. And as this story unfolds, one question grows louder. Will Africa's invention survive the pressure from global giants, or will it be silenced before it reaches the roads of the world? But history has shown us something important. Every time a disruptive technology appears, powerful forces emerge to resist it. And Africa's self-charging EV is no exception. Oil companies, whose profits rely on global fuel demand, see this as an existential threat. Governments that earn billions in fuel taxes fear the collapse of revenue streams. Even automakers who have invested trillions into battery plants and charging networks may secretly wish this car never reaches mass production. Because let's be honest, if a self-charging EV works, it renders entire industries obsolete overnight. And here's where things get even more intriguing. Throughout history, there have been whispers of breakthrough technologies, fuel-less generators, perpetual motion devices, and revolutionary energy systems that mysteriously disappeared. Some say they were debunked. Others believe they were bought out, buried, or suppressed by those who had too much to lose. Now, the same question hangs over Maxwell Chikumbutso's invention. Will it be allowed to thrive, or will it vanish under the weight of global pressure? But there's one thing different this time: Africa itself. Unlike isolated inventors of the past, this breakthrough comes at a moment when Africa is rising as a hub of innovation. Nations like Nigeria, Kenya, and South Africa are already embracing renewable energy, while Zimbabwe, where Chikumbutso is based, has become a surprising source of futuristic ideas. For the first time, Africa may have the leverage to protect, scale, and export its own technology, rather than watching it disappear into the vaults of multinational corporations. Still, skeptics continue to ask, how does it really work? Chikumbutso claims the system uses a unique form of clean energy harvesting, converting radio frequencies and electromagnetic waves into usable power. And as pressure mounts from every direction, corporations, governments, skeptics, and supporters, one question grows sharper. Can a single inventor in a rising continent hold on to a technology that could rewrite the world's future, or will the forces of profit and power find a way to claim it first? Behind closed doors, the power struggle is already underway. Leaked reports suggest that multinational corporations have quietly reached out to secure exclusive rights to the technology. Some offers come disguised as partnerships or research collaborations, but the true intent is clear: control the patent, control the market. This isn't the first time game-changing energy tech has faced silence. But in today's digital world, it's harder than ever to bury an idea. Social media, viral clips, and independent creators are spreading the story far beyond the control of traditional gatekeepers. Governments, too, are watching closely. African leaders see this as a chance to rewrite their nation's futures, to shift from dependence to dominance in clean technology. But Western nations view it differently, as a potential disruption to existing trade agreements, energy systems, and even national security. All of this puts Maxwell Chikumbutso in an impossible position. Does he accept outside funding and risk losing control of his life's work? Does he fight to keep the invention within Africa, knowing the resources to mass produce may be limited? Or does he find a middle path, one that protects the vision while ensuring it reaches the roads of the world? And as the tug-of-war intensifies, another mystery looms. What happens if the self-powered EV actually hits the global market? Will Tesla and the giant adapt, or collapse under the weight of Africa's breakthrough? Tesla, caught in the middle of this storm, has two options: adapt or fight back. Elon Musk, known for embracing radical ideas, may attempt to develop Tesla's own version of a self-charging system. But the challenge is enormous. Africa's head start is years ahead, and Tesla's empire was built around batteries and charging networks worth billions. But while the public celebrates, behind the curtain, industries begin to panic. Oil companies scramble to pivot toward renewables. Power utilities, who once banked on EV charging demand, face collapsing revenue projections. Even governments wonder how to replace billions in fuel taxes once cars no longer need external energy. And yet, not everyone is celebrating. With so much at stake, darker forces rise. Stories emerge of sabotage attempts, smear campaigns, and legal battles designed to slow production. Some accuse Chikumbutso's invention of being unscientific. Others demand endless regulatory tests and roadblocks before it can be sold. By banding together, they create an emerging bloc, one that can resist pressure from the traditional giants and demand access to clean, self-sustaining mobility. For the first time, the balance of power in the auto industry doesn't lean toward the West or China. It leans toward the global South. Tesla cannot stay silent forever. Elon Musk, never one to shy away from bold statements, finally addresses the innovation in a cryptic tweet. Energy is everywhere. It just needs the right technology. Speculation explodes. Is Musk preparing Tesla's own self-powered EV? Is he looking to partner with Africa? Or is this a veiled warning that the fight for the future of energy has only just begun? As the battle lines harden, whispers of a direct showdown emerge. Tesla begins unveiling teasers of a mysterious project rumored to rival the African EV. Some call it Project Helios, a rumored attempt to harness solar and kinetic energy to power cars indefinitely. Meanwhile, in Africa, momentum grows. Backed by a coalition of investors from Nigeria, South Africa, and Kenya, Chikumbutso's project begins taking shape as more than just a prototype. Plans for a production plant circulate, and engineers from across the continent volunteer to join the mission. And then, something extraordinary happens. Citizens across the globe begin to pressure their governments to adopt Africa's self-charging EV. In Europe, environmental groups demand subsidies for the technology. In South America, leaders argue that such a car could liberate their economies from oil imports. Even in the United States, young activists rally, accusing corporations of trying to suppress a world-changing breakthrough. The pressure is relentless. Every delay, every smear campaign only fuels a fire. But behind closed doors, high-stakes negotiations unfold. Chinese manufacturers offer Africa massive deals to license the technology for global-scale production. Western corporations propose research partnerships that critics say are simply attempts to buy control. Chikumbutso and his allies face impossible choices. Should they trust foreign giants to scale the car to the world? Or should Africa risk going alone, with fewer resources but total independence? The decisions made in these rooms will shape the next century of transportation, and perhaps even the global energy economy. And as Tesla races to unveil its counter-innovation, and Africa struggles to keep control of its own breakthrough, the world prepares for what could be the most disruptive technology war in modern history. And in Africa, Chikumbutso's team works day and night, racing to scale production before foreign powers can dominate the market. Engineers, designers, and scientists collaborate across borders, creating a global network dedicated to protecting and perfecting the self-charging EV. But the war isn't fought in labs alone. Reports emerge of industrial espionage, encrypted emails hacked, prototype vehicles tampered with, and attempt to infiltrate African factories. Some speculate that entire fleets of the EV could be delayed by sabotage or stolen designs if security isn't airtight. Meanwhile, the world watches anxiously. Environmentalists hail Africa's breakthrough as a game-changer, potentially ending fossil fuel dependence. Investors scramble to understand the implications, with stock markets subtly reacting to every rumor. Governments debate new regulations and trade policies, realizing that a single innovation could shift global power balances. For Maxwell Chikumbutso in Africa, it's a historic victory, not just for a car, but for innovation, independence, and the power to shape the future. What began as a single vision has become a movement, showing the world that bold ideas can come from anywhere and that the next revolution may not be led by Silicon Valley, but by Africa. The message is clear. The future of transportation, energy, and global innovation will never be the same again